In today's lesson, we're going to hear about the lives of Abraham and Sarah. Once, in the great city of Ur, there was a woman named Sarai. In the same city, there was a man named Abram. They met and fell in love. God told them to leave Ur. They would live in a tent. God would show them the way. They came to a new land called Shechem, and there Abram went up on a hill and he built an altar. He prayed and God was there. They went to Bethel, built an altar to God, prayed, and God was there. God was everywhere. After an encounter with the Pharaoh of Egypt, Abram and Sarai went back to the land of Canaan, to Hebron, where they pitched their tent for the last time. God promised Abram and Sarai that they would be the mother and father of a great nation. They would have as many descendants as there is sand in the desert, or stars in the sky, or dust in the land. Abram and Sarai had been married a long time, but they still had no children. How could they be the mother and father of a great family with no children? This made Sarai worry. Finally, she told Abram to take a second wife, which was a custom in those days. Abram took Hagar, Sarai's Egyptian slave, for a second wife. When Hagar was about to have a baby, Sarai became angry because she wanted to be the mother. Hagar was afraid, so she ran away into the wilderness. An angel of the Lord appeared to them and told her to go back. The angel told Hagar that she would have a son, and she should name him Ishmael, which means God hears. She did go back, and Ishmael was born. Many years went by, and God appeared to Abram. God said to him, "We will be together forever. I will be your God, and all of your descendants after you." God also blessed Sarai and promised to give her a son of her own. Then God renamed them. He said, "Abram shall become Abraham," which means father of many. Sarai became Sarah, which means princess. Then, one day, 3 strangers came out of the desert. The strangers said, "In the spring, God will bless Sarah, and she will have a son." Abraham laughed. Sarai, who was standing by the door, laughed too. She was too old. It was hard to believe the promise of God. But in the springtime, Abraham and Sarah did have a son. They named him Isaac, which means laughter. Sometime later, Sarah saw Ishmael playing with Isaac. She grew angry all over again and told Abraham to send them away. The next morning, Abraham gave Hagar and Ishmael some bread and water in a sack and sent them into the desert. When they had nothing left to eat or drink, Hagar put Ishmael under a bush and walked away so she wouldn't have to watch him die. Ishmael began to cry, and God heard him. An angel came to Hagar and told her to open her eyes. When she did, she saw a well of water. Hagar and Ishmael drank the water and lived. Isaac grew and grew. When he was a boy, God appeared to Abraham and said, "Take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. Offer him as a burnt offering upon the mountain." The next day, he cut wood and took a donkey, 2 helpers, and his son, and began to walk toward the mountain. On the 3rd day, they could see it. Abraham told his helpers, "Stay here with the donkey." And he and Isaac went on alone. Isaac carried the wood for the offering. Abraham carried the bowl of fire and the knife. Isaac said, "Here is the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the offering?" Abraham said, "God will provide." When they came to the place for the sacrifice, Abraham tied up Isaac. He picked up the knife and was about to kill for the sacrifice when the angel came and said, "No, you don't need to do this." Then Abraham looked, and there was a ram caught in the bushes. God had provided the ram for the sacrifice. Abraham untied Isaac, and they went down the mountain. The angel called to him again and said, "God says, 'I will make you the father of a great family, as many as the grains of sand in the desert and stars in the sky. And I will make you a great blessing because you obeyed me.'" I wonder how Sarah and Abraham felt as they waited and waited to have a child and grew older and older. I wonder if there are any promises God has made that seem impossible to us. I wonder what Abraham was thinking when he said that God would provide the sacrifice. I wonder how Jesus is in this story.